Hi guys, my name is Timo Parker and this is your first singing lesson. My aim is that after this lesson you understand the basics about singing. I'm going to talk about some anatomy, so we're going to take a look at the vocal cords, not literally, but I'm going to talk about it, and also I give you some first exercises to get started. It is very important to understand the basic principles of the voice, because if you understand how the instrument works, it will be easier to progress because you know what's happening. So let's take a quick look at your instrument. So when we are speaking, when we are singing, we create a sound, and this sound is created by your vocal cords. You have two of them. They're actually muscles and they're situated inside of your larynx. Let's find your larynx first, if maybe you have never explored it. So if you have more of a round neck like I have, you don't really see the larynx very well. So if you have problems to find it, we can do a little trick to actually feel where it is. So you just raise your chin to the ceiling, to the sky, and what you do, you draw with your index finger a line from your chin down your neck until you find the first bump, and this first bump is going to be your larynx. So this larynx holds the vocal cords inside, and there is where the sound is happening. So this is the first room where the sound gets created. So let's explore this little room for a second and see what it can do. So the larynx has actually the ability to move. So when you speak and you hold your finger here, it could happen that it goes up and down while you speak, maybe also while you're singing. The first direction happens when you swallow. So let's do this just 2 or 3 times. Just swallow and see what happens with your larynx. So when you swallow, the larynx goes up and it prevents from any liquids or foods or whatever to go into your air pipe. It's working together with the epiglottis, which closes off the air pipe. So you have 2 pipes in your throat. One goes to your stomach, the esophagus, and one is the air pipe that goes to your lungs to provide you with oxygen. So this larynx is just a simple elevator, so to say, to go up, close off the air pipe so nothing gets into the wrong pipe. So the larynx not only has the ability to go up, but also to go down. So it's a real elevator. A way to lower the larynx is actually with a very familiar thing. It is yawning. So when you get up in the morning or before you go to bed and you're tired, yawning is a good thing because it puts the larynx down, and it actually can go down all the way down here to your uvulum, where the yawning muscle is starting. So I named already the first muscle. The first muscle is the yawning muscle, which starts here and goes to your larynx. And the other one, the swallowing muscle, goes from your larynx to your hyoid bone, so to the top, to pull the larynx up. And when they contract, so when this muscle contracts, the larynx goes down, and when this muscle contracts, the larynx goes up. So for most people, the swallowing muscle is much stronger than the yawning muscle, because we swallow way more often than we yawn. And also because of cultural reasons, we might not yawn that often or so much in public, because it's a bit rude, it shows a lack of interest, so we try to hide it and avoid it as much as possible, which is really bad for singing, but we come to that in a moment. So the first thing that we have to achieve as a singer is that those muscles get balanced again. So the swallowing muscle has to be stretched and the yawning muscle has to be strengthened. And the best and easiest way to do that is just to yawn wherever you are. So yawn as much as possible throughout the day to get the larynx again into a mid position in your throat and not very high up. So this is a very, very important exercise where you don't even have to sing. So it's just about muscle balance, because you have to understand that the voice is not an instrument that is already built. We have to build this instrument. It's not like a piano or a guitar that you will be handed an instrument and you can start learning it, playing it. We have to actually build the instrument and start incorporating muscle balances within the system. So the first thing that you have to do is yawn a lot. Get the yawning muscle nice and strong. At some point, the larynx should be able to go all the way down here. So why we are doing this, you're asking? Good question. We want to open up your resonance room inside of your larynx. So the thing is, when the larynx goes more and more up, it gets more and more compressed, because we are hitting this tongue tissue, this hyoid bone, and the larynx starts to get deformed and smaller, which is not only unhealthy, but it also prevents from the sound properly exiting your mouth. You want to be heard, you want to be loud. So the best way to open up all the room is to strengthen the yawning muscle. So this is your instrument. We want to keep it nice and low and open. Now talking about the process of singing. So what happens when you sing is that the vocal cords meet each other and they create a sound. But there are different ways to make them meet each other. The first way is to use air pressure. And air pressure is the worst enemy of a singer. We come to that in a minute. You might have experienced that in the past. You're at a sports game, you're at a concert, and you sing along. You're screaming, you're having a good time. And after the concert or after the sports event, you're completely hoarse. Your voice is gone. You sound a bit like this. So when you use air pressure, the vocal cords get pushed out of the natural position and they actually go, when they are meeting like this, normally they go up. And the problem is that over the vocal cords, there's something called false vocal cords. So they meet those false vocal cords, they touch them, and they rub against each other. And the problem with this is that you create heat with time, because same principle as when you rub your hands, it gets warm with time. And the same thing happens when the vocal cords touch the false vocal cords constantly. So what happens there is that you actually burn your vocal cords. This is the reason why you get hoarse. Always keep your belly relaxed and actually the whole body, and try to not push the note or the tone out. So at a certain point in your range, when you use this air pressure system, the pressure gets so high in your body and here in your system that the body looks for ways to release this pressure. So what happens is that your voice actually breaks. The vocal cords that used to meet all the way, like that, let's say, these are the vocal cords, they create the sound, they are happily vibrating, and what happens is that they start losing the full connection in the full length. And you're not using your full length of your vocal cords, which I call on this channel falsetto. It's not very healthy, and it's practically also based on air pressure. So those two methods we really want to avoid because they can get you hoarse, they can injure your voice, and they actually also don't sound so great. The one sounds like Mickey Mouse and the other one sounds like you're screaming. And what I want to work with you on is singing based on muscles, anatomical voice training. This is the key to unlock your voice to sing with at least 3 octaves. Most people can actually achieve 4 octaves with this kind of singing. I at least try to establish a 4-octave range for practicing notes, let's say like for training notes with all my students. So you can comfortably use at least 3 octaves in your voice. So that means if you're singing, especially if you're singing by yourself without a vocal coach, try to avoid this breaking point in your voice where the voice switches from one thing to the other. And just stay in a comfortable range and try to relax into it. We don't want to force anything, especially in the beginning. If you want to know how your range works and how to increase your range, you can click on this video here where I'm going to explain to you how to increase your range and what range actually means. So that basically means don't hide your breaking point, address it. Eliminate it by using the right muscles. So the first part is yawning. Yawn a lot, bring the balance back into your muscle system. The second one is we apply this yawn and put it on a note. So I'm going to give you the first exercise actually with some notes. I have a piano right here, how convenient. Try to stay relaxed, lower the larynx. We're gonna put this into a little exercise of just 2 notes, and just remember, this is not an exercise you wanna sound great with. We wanna develop muscles. So it's a training sound, so don't get irritated. You're not gonna sound like this when you sing a song, for example. So let's get started. So the guys can start down there, or even here. These are the 2 notes you can choose, whatever feels more comfortable. So for women, it's either or the higher octave, if you can't reach that note, should be still comfortable. So let's get started. What we want to do is to not allow the larynx to go into a higher position when we sing the higher pitch. So we're going to do the following. We're just going to sing those 2 notes, nothing more. And the only focus we have is that the larynx for the higher note goes either lower or at least stays in the same position. What I don't want is that the larynx goes into a higher position for the higher pitch. And you can really imagine that you're more yawning the note than really singing it. Don't try to sound beautiful or make the sound very nice. Just yawn. Just make a very yawny sound. And with that, this is how it should sound like. It will slightly differ from my sound because I have some years of practice ahead of you, so don't worry. But we want to start here. Let's do it once for the women up there. So now what we want to do is put the finger on your larynx. So remember, we find the larynx. It's around here for me. First, we can just observe what the larynx wants to do, and then we try to keep it in a lower position on the same position. So let's get started. Also, don't care too much if the pitch is not perfect. It really doesn't matter. It's just about exploring your instrument for today. I'm gonna take the octave higher for the women ones. Down for the men. And I just see I have to be careful that the microphone is not peaking, so I might lower the octave, but you get the point. So let's do the way back. Take your time, relax in between. Less singing, more yawning. Exercise number 1, very simple. That's the best way to get started. Open up your instrument and just get the muscles involved into the process. So these are the very basic and essential exercises to get you started. It's maybe a bit different from what you thought, but those exercises gonna do the difference in the long run. It takes time to build this instrument, and you will benefit greatly if you really take your time from the beginning and address this, switch this breaking point, and strengthen your muscles. The sooner your muscles take over the system, the faster you grow and the bigger your voice is gonna get. So just to show you that there's actually no breaking point if you've trained properly, I'm gonna demonstrate it once in the key of C major. If you don't know what a key is or what C major is, don't worry, you don't need to know. I'm also gonna record a video for basic theory, so check it out here. And let's get started. So check this out. No break. So this is this yawning sound that we tried before, just stretched over 2 octaves, especially in the parts where normally the voice would break. You could hear there was no sound change happening, and I kept the same sound throughout the whole exercise. So this should be your aim first, to lower the larynx, to keep the system open, stay relaxed and avoid air pressure and clipping of your vocal cords. But these are the very basics that you absolutely need to know when you start out. If you enjoyed your first class singing, please like this video, subscribe to my channel. I have more singing content planned and I will release more videos soon on that topic. So stay tuned and thanks for watching. See you next time.